Have you ever met someone who looked so ordinary on the outside, yet carried a wisdom so deep that it could change the way you see life forever? Today, I want to share with you the story of a simple farmer, a man who had no riches, no fame, and no formal education. And yet, what he taught left people speechless. His story is one that still inspires hearts, and if you listen closely, it may just inspire you too. The story begins in a quiet village, far away from the noise of the city. Life there was simple mud houses, endless fields, and the sound of birds filling the morning air. Among the villagers lived a farmer named Abdul. Everyone knew him, not because he was the wealthiest, but because he was always calm, smiling, and ready to help others. But here's the surprising part. While others struggled and complained about the hardships of life, Abdul never seemed shaken. Even when droughts hit, or when crops failed, he somehow carried himself with a peace that others couldn't understand. And so, people often asked him, "Abdul, why don't you worry like the rest of us? Don't you care about losing your crops, your income, your future?" And Abdul would simply smile and say, "The earth teaches me every day. You just have to listen." One day, a wealthy businessman from the city visited the village. He had come to inspect a piece of land he was planning to buy. On his way, he saw Abdul bent over, planting seeds carefully into the soil. Something about the farmer caught his attention. The businessman stopped and asked, half jokingly, "Do you really think all these little seeds will grow? Isn't it risky to waste so much time on land that may not even give you anything back?" Abdul looked up, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and gave an answer that the businessman would never forget. He said, "If I only planted seeds when I was certain of rain, I would never plant anything at all." Life doesn't promise results. It only asks for effort. My job is to sow and trust that God will handle the rest. The businessman was stunned. For a man who had studied economics, dealt in millions, and lived in luxury, this answer carried a truth deeper than all his business lessons. He watched Abdul continue planting, calm and steady, while the sun burned down. And he realized something. The farmer wasn't just planting crops. He was planting faith. Weeks passed. The rains came late that year. Many farmers grew restless, cursing their luck and worrying about their future. The businessman, who had stayed longer in the village for his land deal, noticed something strange. Abdul still walked to his field every morning, still cared for his soil, still smiled, even though his plants were slow to grow. The businessman finally asked him, "Abdul, how do you stay so patient when everything seems uncertain?" And Abdul replied, "Patience isn't about waiting for the rain. Patience is about working as if the rain is already on its way." That one line hit the businessman like lightning. How many times in life do we give up just because the results don't appear right away? How often do we stop believing in our dreams because success doesn't come instantly? But here was a farmer, living proof that perseverance paired with trust could turn uncertainty into peace. Finally, the rains did arrive. Slowly but surely, green shoots pushed their way out of the soil. Abdul's field became one of the most fertile in the entire village. He shared his harvest generously, never hoarding more than he needed, while others stored up greedily or complained about how little they had. Abdul lived with contentment, saying, "The earth gives enough for our need, but never enough for our greed." By now, the businessman wasn't just buying land. He was sitting with Abdul every evening, listening, learning, reflecting. He admitted that in all his years of chasing money, he had never felt the kind of peace this farmer carried so effortlessly. Abdul smiled and told him, "Peace is not found in what you own. It's found in how you live." When you learn to give thanks for little things, life gives you more than enough. The businessman left the village months later, but he left as a changed man. He no longer looked at wealth the same way. He no longer chased success blindly. Instead, he carried with him the farmer's wisdom to plant seeds even when the outcome is uncertain. To be patient, working with faith instead of fear. To live with gratitude and contentment instead of endless greed. And do you know what's amazing? Years later, when people spoke about the businessman's success, he would often say, "My greatest teacher was not a professor nor a CEO, but a farmer who showed me how to truly live." Friends, this story is not just about Abdul, it's about you, about me, about all of us. We are all farmers in some way. Every dream you have, every effort you make, every act of kindness you sow's all a seed. And yes, you may not see the results right away. The rains may delay. The soil may test your patience. But if you keep planting, keep nurturing, and keep believing, the harvest will come. So the next time life feels uncertain, remember Abdul, the farmer. Remember his quiet smile in the face of hardship. Remember that true wisdom doesn't come from books alone, comes from living close to the soil, to nature, to the lessons life gives us every day. And above all, remember this: peace is not found in worrying about the future. Peace is found in doing your best today and trusting that tomorrow will take care of itself. If this story touched your heart, let it be a seed planted within you. Carry it forward. Live with patience. Live with gratitude. Live with faith. And when you do, you won't just harvest success, you'll harvest peace. Thank you for listening to the story of a farmer's wisdom. If it inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs hope. Leave a comment below telling us what lessons spoke to you the most. And if you want more stories like this, filled with meaning and inspiration, make sure to subscribe and join this journey with us. Until next time, keep planting seeds of goodness and watch how life blesses your field.